The #1 interview platform in UK music right now. We are Not For The Radio. Myself, Viz, alongside Chams, alongside Posty.
Yeah.
So we got a friend and one of the world's best lyricists in the hot seat today, Wretch 32. In the building.
Yaga.
Mad.
The greatest rapper alive, you know.
Post.
I'll be honest, Wretch, man.
Post.
You're definitely up there, man.
Are you going to stand by that? The greatest rapper alive.
Yeah. Fuck Weezy, man. Tell him I said. Shout out to Verset.
I see Wayne put up a thing talking about he quit or something.
Nah, he's back. He was on stage with Drake last night.
Back? Okay,
saying a load of stuff.
Yeah, that's not nice, man, to see, man.
Yeah, but do you see them drinks, them that cough syrup things? Mad, just mad.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? I think that's a good place to start because the support you've had with this album, I think a lot of people get that on their first album, second album. Is it your third album?
Third album,
It's your third album and the support has been crazy. Been absolutely crazy. How are you feeling about the whole thing, man?
Do you know what? It's nice, bruv. I'm not even gonna lie. By the time it licks 12 and then I refresh on my Instagram and when I keep scrolling, I just keep seeing the album cover all the way down. It's mad overwhelming. I try and make sure I comment on everyone's thing and support the love, obviously. And obviously, for me, the actual picture, like, it's funny because for me, looking at the cover, like the art thing that I had in mind with the hands with my son and my daughter, just even looking at enough people posting that and seeing my kids' hands, it was like a warm feeling as well because it was that was the picture as well.
Why do you think you get so much support? Like, I think support is what a lot of rappers want and it's a word that is used so much, but you do actually get a lot of support. Like, I don't think anyone I'm following didn't post a picture of your album cover. Do you think it's down to you? I don't know. What is it down to? I know that sounds like a bit of a weird question, but...
I pay. No, I'm joking. Nah. I pay, man. Pay yola. Nah, you know what? I think at some point, I think I've been there for everyone at some point, whether it's early on in your career or on the way up or we were on the way up together or I was here and when you was coming, I was welcoming or... You know what I mean? Because for me, this is like... It's a passion, innit? So when I see... people doing their thing, like linked up with you from early, linked up with Chams from early, yourself from early. You know what I mean? And I think I'm not one of them people that are like, nah, stay away from me until you're massive. Like, I don't mind if you've only got 10 followers, but I think you're cold. Like, we can do something. Like, half of these people on the album, like, they're not massive. Like, I just think that they're sick. Like, Jay Warner, Tenny, like, Varon Wade. Like, some of these people are just incredible musicians. Shaka, obviously, Bobby Lewis and that. And not everybody knows them. So my thing is I want to work with them and I want everyone to know them. And then I think then when they go on, most of them go on to be fucking bigger than me, then they just always remember me and remember that.
Okay.
No, definitely. You got to remember, Wretch has been here for a long time. You know, like people take that for granted sometimes because he's not like from the Wiley era or whatever, but he's like at least 10 years now. Isn't that right? Yeah, at least 10 years. That's a long time. So a lot of people are growing up with him.
Apart from me, like bringing you to radio and stuff like that, like, what would you say about the early stages of, where would you say it started for you? Like, because I remember like, fuck radio times and the grime scene, but what's your earliest memory like of really spitting and impressing people? What do you think the turning point was?
The turning point was my first mixtape, Learn From My Mixtape. I think that was when people understood how to listen to me, because being in a room full of people spitting you might not get the whole gist of my thing, and I'm like, I create the concept of the CD and I create the whole body of work and the theme of it and Learn From My Mixtape, like the cover, like I was taking you to school, to my school of lyrical excellence, and then the tracks represented that and the feel of it was all educational at times and stuff. So I think when you listen to that CD from, what was it, track 1 to 24, I think it was, I think people kind of understood like, rah, I get what this guy's about. And that's when you knew like, okay, I can be a supporter of Wretch because this is what he does. So that was when I felt it change.
That was at a time where the movement as well was at its strongest point.
Yeah.
Hope no one in the movement takes offense to that, but that's when it was at its strongest point. Why is there no one from the movement on this? You've mentioned kind of up-and-coming artists, which you've always done with your albums, but as a movement fan, I'm disappointed that there's no Devlin, Gets, Scorcher
on the record. Do you know what? If I'm honest, it's like there's so much different records that has been made for this album because I've been making it for years. Year after year, I've made the album. Like 6 months after 6 months, I've made a different version of this album. And I think I got to a point where I said everything I wanted to be said on this record. And sometimes when you're making a CD, you're like, nah, I need some aggression. Let me holler at my man. Or I need something smooth. Let me shout Mercs and give me something fly. But I just feel like everything I said on there was it. Like even like a lot of the choruses, I writ most of them. Do you know what I mean as well? Like I really knew what I wanted to say and I wanted to get this whole message across and how I wanted to do it. So I think that's probably why I didn't get to. But there's no love lost with the boys. Like the lads know that it's we can get in any
You're not
time.
running from any of them.
Running?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, bro. They're my brothers, man. We don't run from each other, man.
Lyrically.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You mentioned that it's been a few years, and you've been building on this. I think that it's important to note that because it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like, it's been forever since we've had a Wretch project. And I know it's because you've had stuff in between. The freestyles are always so cold that people talk about them for ages. In a time where people forget about stuff overnight, did that worry you, kind of having to polish an album for the people, for your fans?
Do you know what? I always go back to basics, man. And I'm like, what am I good at? And what are my strengths? And like, just like I touched on with the mixtape earlier on, like my strength was showing the body of work because you get to come into my world. So sometimes a verse ain't good enough, or one tune ain't good enough, or a feature ain't good enough, or a freestyle ain't good enough. So for me, I was like, it's important that I'm always about a body of work. Like even if the game has gone to shits where it's probably going, where no one wants to hear an album and no one wants to buy an album and no one wants to sign an album and no one wants to release one, like I still feel like that is the best. That's me showcasing the best side of me. So I'm always going to have to do records like that.
And speaking of the best side of you, you're quite a multifaceted artist.
I love them words.
No,
Wicked,
don't act like you're surprised like I ain't got words.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
A lot just came out of your mouth.
No, but I
Chams.
mean, in terms
Back at
of,
it again.
you know, like there are people that want to hear you as doing freestyles, and there are people that want to hear you doing 6 words and might feel like, you know, this is brand new to us. We don't know how to feel about that. You know, in terms of just being Wretch, because you know you present yourself as this is me. You're gonna accept me or not. How does that make you feel? Because it's almost like you've got, you know, you've got different personality.
Yeah. It can, them things can work for you and against you, man. Because if I was on a football pitch and I could play in every position, but one position wasn't my specific thing, in certain teams that ain't gonna work. But there's gonna be certain teams where like, yo, the left back's out, we need you there, cool, I can cover it. Or the striker's out, we need you there, cool, I can cover it. And like, with this, like, I do have people that like me for records that I make for radio or records that the radio like. I do have people that like me for only my fire in the booths. And they don't even want to listen to a song with a chorus. They just want to hear a whole verse. But I can't do a whole CD of that. And I can't do a whole CD of 6 words because I'll be neglecting a part of me. So I kind of have to collage it all together to make like the perfect portrait for where I'm at the time.
What I like
You've
about
done
this
that, you've
album
done
is that it just, you know, like some people take a lot of time out and they come back with the product, but it's like there's not enough, you don't get enough from it. I get like a lot of feeling in this. I get a lot of story in this. I get a lot, like, because I've known you for so long, even when I listen to the CD, I feel like I'm getting to know you even more. Do you understand? I feel like that's difficult to do at such a late stage in your career. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because you've already said so much.
Yeah.
But what I do like about you that I don't think that you do enough is because like you see, like in England or whatever, like rap is about bragging and sometimes it's about bragging and doing this and doing that. You've never been solely that type of rapper. Like if people are thinking bragging, they won't think about Wretch, for example. But when you do it, bro, you're just saying some really bad things out here. I'm just like, damn, son. You get me? Yeah. Why don't you play on that a little bit more? Or is it just because you just like to dip in and out of it?
Yeah.
You don't really...
Because I'm not all about that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really that.
But
guy.
you kind of are though, because when you throw something out there, it's like
it's outlandish.
You just had to let that one out.
Nah, because
what was the mixtape before Young Fire Old Flame?
Sometimes you just have to, I don't know. The mixtape before Young Fire Old Flame was Wretchicides.
Wretch aside, you were stunting in that. On that you was stunting on that mixtape.
Not really.
I think that again,
That's not really. But if it's factual to me, then it's not really stunning.
That's true.
I think you should make one mixtape, before you die, of just straight.
Don't touch wood or
No,
something.
I did. But of just straight crud, like just straight bragging on them. Cause
that's what you like, innit?
No, I like substance. I love it. But when you do that as well, I just like, raw. This is like, like some people can't get to that Jay-Z level.
Yeah.
Cause like, all right, look, this is how I put it, See, like a lot of rappers in the UK, they've been rapping for so long. And sometimes the content doesn't change because their situation doesn't change. So if I was busting whatever and I was doing this and I was whatever 10 years ago, I'm still talking about that 10 years later. I'm not telling you, now I'm really in the range or this or like things that you don't really know. Even if he says I'm really in the range, your brethren's got a range. It's cool. I want to hear some other stuff that's like, whoa.
But I think that comes with the being multifaceted. That's what I was saying, because there's some people like you that would like that bit, and then there's some other people that would be really upset to hear Wretch like that. They don't want to see Wretch like that because they're like,
it's balanced.
He's the humble person.
It's balanced. It's balanced, and it's just making sure that it's said in a way that. Because for me, like, my thing is never, like, I'm not here in life to piss on no one. Or to shit on no one. So my thing is never, I have this and you have that. My thing is, I have this, I got it this way, and you can get it by doing that. And if you get one and I get one, then we can have two, and then did it like, that's my kind of philosophy on it. Not like, I've got 10 and you've got 0 kind of thing.
Well, you did once say your bag's like a 10.
Posty gonna let you get away with that?
Yeah.
This album obviously is very.
I know, but I said, A bag. A, not your. A. See, the connecting words are very important. I knew I was even thinking.
Yeah, but it's interpretation it Posty.
No, A bag.
You said the bag thing, so your bag.
A bag is like. Like. So I'm talking about me.
You knew it
Not
could be
your
interpreted
bag.
in multi ways. You knew it. You knew.
Nah.
Say the word
I
again.
hear that.
Which one?
Multi.
I feel like you've got a thing for it. I'm not doing it again.
Wow.
Cool, let's move on.
We going there.
All right, something on the serious side. I think there's two names within the titles of two separate tracks on here. Mark Duggan, R.I.P. and Antwi.
Yeah.
Richard Antwi. Two people that were close to you and passed away. When you were writing these tracks, you cried with some of them. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how was that process? That sounds very intense, man.
With the end of Open Conversation and the Mark Duggan segment, that was more of a spiritual moment. Like, I had Open Conversation finished already, and I mentioned something about Mark at the end of the record, innit? So I was like, I want to do like a segment. So the first half of it was made by Mikey and Mo. Then I went to KZ and was in with Bobby Lewis and Avelino. And we're just sitting down, me, Ab and Bobby, and we was talking. And KZ and was talking about the riots, and we was talking about my uncle, and we was talking about everything regarding, what had happened. And I was just like, I need to sum this up in a song, but I tried to write it from the perspective of someone who's been taken innocently. Do you know what I mean? I kind of wanted to speak for the people who couldn't speak at this present moment in time because they're not here. So, and obviously Mark being a friend of mine, that was like on the top of my mind. So writing that one was really, it was a special session, man. It was a special session, and Bobby executed the vocal. I remember even at one point I was just like what I love about Bobby Lewis as well is that he's got patience, man, because I'm very specific with how I want things to sound. And when he done it, I was like, bro, I'm not, you sound sick, but you're not making my eyes water, bro. Like, you sound like you're singing for you. I said, you have to remember, this song that we're making here is bigger than everyone in this room, bro. It's bigger than us. So this needs to feel like that when people hear it, when you deliver that vocal. And then he just done it again and he nailed it. With Antwi, it was a completely different situation because I had already made that song. That was the intro to the album. I called it Intro. I emailed it to Richard and sent it to him, and then he rang me back and we just had a conversation. He was just like, yo, you need to fuck off, get on the plane, go to America, bust it up out there, because he's like, lyrically, like, no one's touching you, go out there and do what you got to do, become who you're supposed to be. We had a conversation for about half an hour, and You know, we ask each other how we are, what we're up to, etc. And then like a week later, he passed away, and that's the last conversation that I had with him, and that's the last song that I got to play to him.
So who is Richard Antwi?
Richard Antwi.
You know what, to the music industry?
Yeah, Richard Antwi is my mentor. He is the label that Richard owned the label that I signed to, him and Twin B. That was called Levels. That was a subsidiary of Ministry of Sound. So when we done Black and White, that came out through that. He worked with numerous people, Lethal B, everyone in the scene, you know, has been around Richard. He's done so much. He's a special guy, man. Like, everyone that met him, you know, kind of took a piece of him. And I think he was one of them people that was here to give. Like, at the time when me and Zion met Richard, it was them stages where you're thinking about packing it in. We're thinking about, I don't know if this is going to go where we want it to go. And Richard's like, look, I'm sorting out a situation now. The first act I'm coming to sign is you. We're going to go and do this. We're going to go and do that. And that was like that proper lift, that boost of hope. And then, yeah, you know, but I've like over the past, you know, since he's been gone, I've been proper like thinking about it. And I think I'm just happy that he was a part of my life, man, because that guy is a special guy, and he's installed so much in me. Like, he was a fearless guy. Like, this guy, he's a graduate, so he spoke the label people's language. He spoke our language because he's from the ends as well. And he's just one of them men that, you know, like, even for like a quick story, I met Chris Martin from Coldplay at the Q Awards, and he walked past me and he came back and he was like, Wretch 3-2, and I was like, yeah. He was like, that Black and White album, man, sick, man. And he was chatting, and he was like, yeah, man, take my number. Took his number, and he went off. And when I said it to Rich, he was like, ring him now, bro. Let's get a hook out of him now. I'm thinking, bro, I'm just new in this thing. I can't ring my man. He's on a stadium tour and rare. But my man's just fearless. One time he's rang me and he's like, bro, if someone's gonna ring you, make sure you answer your phone. Because I'm funny, I don't answer my phone to no numbers I don't know. The phone rings, hello? Hi, is that Rich? I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's Sade. Like, rah, you get me? Like, we've ended up doing a tune together. It hasn't come out or whatever, but yeah. But he's just one of them guys, man. He knows someone everywhere. Everyone's blessed to be in his presence, and he's a special guy, man. He'll be missed, man.
No, R.I.P. Richard
He'll be missed,
Antwi.
man. Antwi.
All right, cool. So, I mean, yeah, I noticed you was part of the marches recently.
Yeah.
In London. Like, what this police brutality situation is something that's affected you, it's affected all of us. I know your family personally have done things within the community, local community within Tottenham, to try and raise awareness and prevent this happening in the future. What do we do about it? And I'm asking you this because obviously this track on here, Open Conversation / Mark Duggan, is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So what else can we do now? Because you was obviously a part of the march. Do you think that helps?
Yeah. It's funny because there's like the frustrated kid in me that's just like, I don't want to be doing peaceful protests. I want to be making noise. But then the mature adult in me is like, look, we need to go out there. We need to move sensible. And we just need to create awareness and create sensible noise. Like, sometimes people are like, it's getting a bit too erratic, and then the whole point of why we've stepped out has been eradicated now because we've gone out there in such an aggressive way that no one wants to talk to a barking dog. You get what I'm saying? So now, you know, there's something in me that's like, they do help. It does raise awareness. It creates problems for the city. Like, when people are walking through central London, it's a problem for the city, and they don't want that. So it's something that they are going to have to think about addressing, and they're just going to have to slow down, man, and know what they're doing, because they can't just be pulling people over and killing people's children. I'm thinking that that's just it. Like, that can't just run. There's no country in the world where that's supposed to run. That's not supposed to run here.
And I have to kind of step in and say that a lot of, you know, musicians, artists, people who are in, you know, public domains, obviously you kind of have a little tussle with yourself as to, you know, is this the right time for me to do this? Is this going to, you know, effectively ruin stuff for me? Because, you know, you do have to think about that. You've obviously kind of overcome that and still stepped out and kind of risked that, because I say risk because it is one, you know, like people can look at you and see and put a spin on you, and it can negate from, you know, what you're doing proactively elsewhere, but it's something that you felt that was necessary. Why did you feel like now's the time I'm going to step out?
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, it is whatever, man. Like, just take me as I am. Like, this is how I am. This is what I represent. This is where I'm from. It's in my bloodline to be out there doing that as well. This is what my family's been doing for, how old am I, 31 years plus. Do you know what I mean? So it's not going to change now. And but also, like, I see a lot of people give, like, a lot of artists stick and say, like, rah, like, how come you're not saying nothing, or how come you're not doing nothing, or da-da-da-da-da. Sometimes, yeah, you just have to understand people don't know what to say. You get what I mean? Like, even myself, like, I'm someone who can, like, I can get my point across in a song when I'm talking about them things, because it's a touchy subject, isn't it? Because it's not just a news clipping, it's people I know that it's happening to. So I can get my point across in a song because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it and I'm writing it and I want to say this and I'm cool, the music's on and I've got time to think about it. But when you're sitting down somewhere and someone asks you, you might not be able to say it how you want to say it. Like, we're not all as gifted as a Carla. Like, he's incredible. Like, he knows how to sit down and say exactly what he wants to say. He can sit down on news. He can sit down on anything and break it down with them percentages, everything. That's the best guy to go and sit down and say it like that. And not everybody knows what to say. So I wouldn't give people stick. Like, the people that are prepared to stand up and say something, whether it's in their music, it should be cool to do that. If you want to go on a march, go on a march. Cool. If you want to do whatever you want to do, it should be up to you. I wouldn't put pressure on people to feel like they have to say something, because one day they're going to be, because when you turn around and the news turns on, the camera turns on him and you ask him a question and he says something stupid, everyone's like, oh, he's such a prick, he doesn't know what to say. So it's full. He's just got a talent. He might just be a footballer, he might just be a musician. His talent is making music, or your talent is playing football. His talent ain't being an activist and knowing what
Do you
to
think
say.
that becoming a father and watching your children grow, because obviously they're getting a bit big now, do you think that that has played a role in kind of forcing you almost to kind of speak out?
Yeah, 1,000%. I like everything that I'm doing now is really stemming from them. Because it's funny, like, I've just looked, it's like so much things change when you have children. Like, for example, when the first time my little boy played out, he was supposed to come back at a certain time. And I was like, when he was out and about and I didn't know where he was and he ain't got a phone, like, you feel something. Like, I even put a tweet and I said, you know what, Mum, you was right. Like, I said to my mum, you know what, you was right. She said, what about? I said, yeah, when I was going out and you didn't know where I was and you was worried. I felt it now. You get me? And then no parent wants that phone call that's happened by them or by the, you get what I mean? So now I just want to make sure that I'm, putting out the right message and spreading the right thing.
And is that part of kind of why you was talking about growing over life? Because, that's a strong title. That is it's not a kid of a title, it's a grown-up title. Talk to us about that, because it sounds to me like it's important. You've got your kids' hands with yours on your cover. It's very emotive.
It's just, I just always remember being in a haste to be taller, being in a haste to be bigger. My mum used to say to me, like, so now I think it was my uncle that said, yeah, like, every year, like, measure yourself and see if you got bigger. And every birthday when I was like 6, I'm like, Mum, am I taller? Like, standing up by the wall thing, it's all rubbed off from last year, so I can't even gauge it. I don't remember, whatever. And then, like, my mum was just saying something to me and she was talking and then she was just like, yeah, man, like, she goes, like, one day you're going to get to an age where you no longer grow in height, but that doesn't mean that you don't still grow. Like, so effectively you're growing over life. You're always growing. Like, you're always learning. You're always adapting. You're always seeing new things and you're taking in new information. So you're growing over life. So me saying that is just saying, like, just because my height stopped, don't mean mentally I ain't taking in more things or my growth or my growth, as Posty would like.
Mum deserves royalties then.
Royalties, I know.
Direct royalties.
And speaking of the album, so, you've released this album. Like I said earlier, it's been a little bit of a while. Did that kind of time where you was developing your album spur any thoughts of, what else am I going to do with myself? What if this, I know that you're quite spiritual, so you probably don't look at things very negatively, but what if the people don't receive this as I wish them to? Has it made you think of any other ventures or any other things that you want to do?
It does make you, sometimes it does make you think about what happens after. Like, what happens when nobody wants to buy a CD and no one wants to click a view. But this is all I'm here to do. And the bottom line is, everything I do is going to stem from this. Like, some way I'm going to be able to promote something through this. This is the vein, innit? This is the vessel. So, and this is what my passion is. This is what I wake up and feel excited about doing. So to me, it was just like, this is just something that has to be done. There's no if, no buts, or maybes about it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if no one don't want to buy one. I still have to make that CD for myself anyway. You get what I mean?
If you couldn't rap though, what do you reckon you would have been?
Pimped
on it.
If I couldn't rap, if I couldn't rap, I'd probably be. Nah, I just had to say that. The interview with guys so serious.
No, but you know what it is?
Easy.
I believe that though. That's the
Why do you believe that?
Because he's smooth with his words. I've heard him speaking to the people. I've heard you speaking to the people.
I'm single. If wasn't doing this, I'd hope like I'd have been like some sort of mentor for children or something like that.
Okay, but you have it. Hold on.
That's what I would have hoped.
Because he's
never
been
thought about
mentoring the girls, and did you not hear? He said
What kind of mentoring?
he said sometimes he you know, he makes them feel better, then he breaks them down again. You're talking about it. I want to talk about it with you.
Who's something about?
I need to find out. Like, how many girls are you seeing currently?
Whoa,
Bruh.
Look, Chams ask me anything.
How many girls
don't ask me anything.
am I seeing right now?
Not counting us. Don't be smart. Don't be smart with me. I got you.
I've seen two. I've seen two girls. One's here and one is here.
Very clever. We're going to give him a bravo for that. We're going to give him a bravo. But okay, you are a bit of a smooth maneuverer.
What kind of
No, Wretch, I've got to say.
Listen, don't be pointing that finger. You know.
There's no fingers pointing. I know, and even when I do point, I do that. It's very smart.
No, like, I'm in the sheets and I hear your name in the sheets. But like, no one's saying everything I hear that Wretch is official.
Young fire of play.
I've never heard a girl come back and disrespect Wretch.
What's official?
Like, you're just doing the right things. You're not sending mixed messages.
What would you say to people out there?
What kind of mixed message?
What
kind of sheet you in, dog? You need to take off that sheet there, dog. Some Ku Klux Klan sheet or something, dog. Wrapping up, posting them in a sheet, them, you know? Right, a sheet of Rizla or something, dog. Yeah.
What are you finding yourself with there, Posty?
Just little rated awards Wednesday.
Yeah. Make sure you watch that Wednesday.
Come on, big up.
Big up.
What would you say to the people out there that say you're already a pimp?
There shouldn't be anybody saying that.
Well, according to Chams, there is.
No, I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say he was a pimp.
You said it, but not like that.
No, I never.
He said he'd be a pimp.
Yeah.
Shams said, what would you be? He got himself in this
No, that was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke.
All right, who is something about? Because that's
okay, so you see when you're like someone like I'm looking at looking at the cover. Nah, do you know what? It's like you take like I'm taking everything. I'm taking something from my manager and his missus' relationship. I'm taking something from everywhere.
Because I'll be honest, like I listen to the tracks when you get into that zone, yeah, and I feel like this brother's in love, like in deep love.
And have you told more than one girl that song was about them?
No,
I need to know
I
that.
ain't told anyone it's about them. Because when you're creative, like
them songs, they'll make girls break down and that.
Bro, but you have to like creatively. Just because I'm not in a relationship, it doesn't mean I can't write a song about one. Yeah. Because I've been in relationships before, so I just take something from everyone. I take, boom, you cook good, cool. You used to piss me off, cool. Let me take that frustration. Yeah, like you used to moan a lot. Let me take that, and then you make it sound and feel like one person that could. It could also apply to your relationship, or whatever.
And what made you get Steph London to do the intro?
Because I just like the way she moves. She's cold. Like, I like her voice. I like the way she moves, man. She was the right... If I was to like...
It did work.
If I was to think, who looks like they talk like that? I can picture her in my head. So I said it was important that, I got Steph.
Do you know what I like? I also like Hulk Hogan. I feel like it was a real moment in like people's lives. You know, sometimes you get a song that defines a summer, like Big Pimpin'
Shout
or something.
Wizzy, AV.
Yeah, like you feel like like I was lipsing a couple girl them times because you was young then. Hulk
Posty's
Hogan,
a kisser, you know.
Every summer.
But obviously that came out in like some grown up ages. And I feel like everybody that was on stuff or whatever, linking a few girls or whatever, like that was their song.
That was the anthem.
Was that your song, Posty? This summer? This summer.
I did some great things stuff that I will tell you after this camera goes off. But on a lighter note, let's talk about this Verset vodka here that you guys have created.
Yeah.
I must say it tastes amazing.
Have you tried some, Chams?
Sam,
I'm
you should
gonna
do a shot right now.
Not a shot. Let her take like
I
professional.
I do a little shot. I haven't got a glass like a.
Oh yeah, Wretch, here.
Have you? What about you, Viz? You got a cup, or you just gonna nick it?
I would spit it out, but it tastes really nice. That's good.
So we're gonna do
Taste test.
a quick taste test.
Don't do it like the posh people, though, Chams.
What's it
I
called?
would.
You know
but
when they
I-
do the wine taste and they spit it back
spitting
out.
back out.
Break it
Yeah,
down.
don't
Break
spit,
it down
don't
first,
spit.
though. What's the name of the vodka? Who's involved and why? Why? Why, man?
You know what?
I just want to turn up.
Me and my business partner, Big Stitch, you always see me with him. Long and short of it is, when I done a campaign with Lucasade, where they put my face and my name and my estate on 1 million bottles in the country. It was like 1.7 million bottles or whatever. And
Well done.
from that kind of, it was years ago, that kind of, thank you, inspired me.
paid.
I always think to myself, right, I'd be sick
Rolly came from.
if we had, we'd have an opportunity to have an actual, like, our own drink. So, you know, we bumped into some guys and, you know, had a couple meetings and, you know, we came up with this idea of Verset Vodka, designed the bottle, created the name, wrote everything on the back. It's a vodka that's 5 times distilled. It's produced here, which a lot of the other stuff that we're drinking, it kind of gets thrown in and we don't know exactly what's being put in it and taken out of it. So it's like, it's fully UK, it's fully British.
Okay.
And,
I really like the name. Who came up with the name?
but
what's it mean?
we had so many different names, man.
It's
what?
clean. The
You know
name's
what I mean?
clean.
And then we just started popping names into a hat. And then this was the one that we decided to go with.
What does it mean?
Verset is like, it's almost like to write something short. So it's like to write your nights or to have the right night or to right your wrongs kind of thing, just to play on words because I'm a writer and we just thought it made sense. Be
So
a part of the
what-
Verset society.
What's the selling point? No.
The selling point is that...
you got
No,
Diddy
the
and
selling
Ciroc.
point-
You got
The selling point.
You got,
the selling point is
Rick
that
Ross.
the selling point is that this is made here. This is our one.
Okay.
Like something ain't getting imported. It's distilled here. The distillery's here. I'm not gonna tell you where that is, car. I don't Posty to run up in there and be Verset boy in
Verset
every
remix.
club in the country. Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Of course, though.
GRM set or GRM set or whatever. So
Has a grim.
yeah, it's
Grim
obviously
set.
it's obviously a
Absolutely.
premium vodka
Okay.
as well. And I just think like it's just for me, it's just like taking another step
So should we
in
judge this? Should
in
we-
another
should we-
direction.
Yeah, let's have
Should we
a...
look at this? Because I mean, just based on the exterior, which was designed by yourselves, yeah, very nice. It has a level
cold.
of class to it. Do you like that? The ice glass feeling.
Come
I've
on.
always wanted to be on one of those cookery shows.
QVC and
Is
shit.
it? Is it?
Mad.
This one you can actually drink and drive as well, and it don't.
You're going mad.
You don't detect. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
So
Okay,
what?
so
Why?
Posty's an
let's
alcoholic.
taste.
So
Yeah, you go
I think,
first,
I think, yeah.
By the way,
do you drink vodka?
I am, of course, I love vodka. It's my drink.
Cool.
Say when.
Keep
You
going.
ain't gonna say. You ain't gonna
You
say
ain't gonna
when.
say when.
fam.
You're gonna
You
get
ain't
to the
gonna-
top before Posty says
Alright,
it.
go on. It's a taste test, bro.
Oh, yeah,
It's not a turn-up test.
He's one of them people that go wine tasting and end up drunk. It's just like, you're meant to
Wasted.
spit it
How?
out, Posty.
Innit?
Bro, this guy's always smoking and drinking. That's right.
Smoking, cuz.
You smoke one of them shisha things, innit? That's why your voice went.
Damn.
You can't even drink. Feel that?
He
Feel how
thinks he's a
soft it
real
is.
professional, you know. Look at this.
Feel how soft it is. You feel the difference.
Do you know what? Let me explain to you what I'm feeling right now. So I took the drink, right? And it's exactly how Wretch explained. It's soft. It's a very clean tasting vodka, you know. Like, I actually drink vodka. I wouldn't...
And be honest, not just because I'm here as well.
No, honestly, it's a very nice vodka. Like, I'm not supposed to be drinking right now, and I've had a few. And it's good. I'd recommend it.
Chams?
It's better than
Whoa.
Goose, Belvie.
I like.
What other
It
dead
works.
vodkas are there?
I would drink
That
this.
people drink and
I would.
order.
I wouldn't even just call you and say, "Wretch, can you help me?
Yeah.
I need alcohol." I wouldn't hang around your table. I'd buy it.
We're going to crate you up, man. Don't worry about
What's
that.
It's got,
What's the
it's got a
price point,
fresher
man?
taste than syrup.
Scared.
The price, obviously,
I'm
are,
balling on a budget right now.
well, you're not, but then just don't buy it in the club. Go
Yeah,
get it when it's in
no,
the
but the
Tesco
thing
and the
is,
Asda.
you got to talk to your friends because obviously the vodka industry has grown tremendously. I've been doing my research on the old vodka, and it's the number one spirit in the UK, exceeding whiskey even, and it's growing. I think it's growing by like 2%, and there's a lot of
it's smashing it right now. Yeah.
And then we have a lot of we have a lot of US rappers that have kind of really dominated the market, but we haven't had any UK
One from here,
kind of utilising the fact that you lot go to the club
and buy that one.
and and you buy all of those ones. And why? Because if you can get something that's as premium as this, tastes as good,
feels better.
When that comes to sparklers, mad. It's
But
mad.
like, who's gonna make it with a sparkler? But we just said that was mad.
Oh, what was that actually in
I'm
conversation?
I'm joking.
No, that's
all
But
right.
you guys must be looking to make some real life money, because the turnovers are really crazy.
Listen, I'm like, I'll be selfish to be out here for just me when I have kids, and my kids are gonna have kids.
I mean,
and their
so
kids
for
are gonna have
generations,
kids. And
you
their
know
kids are
what
gonna
is
have
when people
kids,
start
and their
talking
kids are
about
gonna
not
have
having
kids.
new money anymore, and it becomes an old money tale, and they're talking about great grandchildren. It's mad. We can move on. We don't need to talk
No,
about the
but when is
figures.
it coming out? When's it coming out?
So we're looking to launch, and we'll have like a big party and make a big thing about it at the end of the year. Now it's just like, we've got these bottles. I just wanted to bring it up here for you guys to try it out and to let people know that it's coming. I mentioned it in the fire in the booth, and I think people thinking, what are you talking
and
about?
the album as well, right? And the
Yeah.
song.
She loves me for my net game Verset match, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so we've
and-
spoken. Oh, sorry, bro.
Sorry, I'm still on the vodka.
Sorry,
We'll
bro.
leave in a
Sorry.
sec. How are you approaching it in terms of distribution? Where can people buy it?
Well, we're looking to hit up. We've got a good situation with a lot of the warehouses, and we're looking to hit up everywhere where like the Cirocs are, so like the cash and carries, the off licenses, the Tesco's, the Asda's, the Sainsbury's, etc., and of course nightclubs as well. We've got quite a few key members on board. They're obviously not here today. They're working, I should hope. So you should see it everywhere, man.
Yeah.
You should see it
Magnum
everywhere,
bottles in the club maybe one day?
We ain't made a Magnum bottle as yet, but we're gonna start off with this, and then we'll get bigger for people with bigger wallets like yourself.
Oh, behave.
You know?
I'm on a very
I've
low wage right now.
seen you in the club, Posty.
I've seen you in the club, Posty.
I'll do this to
I've got the little skinny bottle. You know the one that's half this size.
Spending
Stay over there.
spending that GRM money. Posty's a man who just send you a bottle, you didn't even know. The way I come over with some big thing, with the midget, they send the midget with a big thing. And about 15 gal. Who's that from? And my man over there, you see with the e-sheesh. With the shisha thing, but in the
Said he
shisha
don't
thing.
smoke it.
My man is like, yeah, all right, say nothing.
Snap.
That's what all those freestyles I gave you.
I see. You did give me a few. You did give me a few. You did give me a
Speaking of
few.
freestyles, let's talk about. Are we off that now?
Yeah, well, off that.
Verset.
Fire in the booth.
Yeah, we need to talk about
Do you
that.
think you're the king of fire in the booth?
I feel like I got the best one on everything, I think.
With your latest fire in the booth though,
Yeah.
you think that's the best fire in the booth?
I think that's the best one this year. It should always get better, doesn't it? Like,
What's your top three?
top 3 fire boosts?
Yeah, not including yourself.
I like Kano's one.
Keno's one's better than yours, isn't it? He said it himself. Of
course he
He
did.
kind of said it. He kind of said it
Of
himself.
course he did. There's one MC called JK.
Oh, yeah.
And his friend passed away, and he was talking about that for the whole verse, and just like how emotional it was. Like I proper connected with that one. And then he's got the last one. Come back to me in a little while,
All right.
because it's
I think, speaking of fire in the booth, it would be wrong for us on Not For The Radio not to approach the chipmunk fire in the booth when he said, my brother called me. He said, "Why certain man in certain man's videos?" I'm gonna direct this to you. Did you feel like that was anything to do with you?
I just felt like Verset was coming soon, man.
I mean, the answer's good. I mean, we've got to ask.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I know you have to ask.
We
and
have to ask.
Yeah, I just thought that Verset was coming soon, and then I thought that my album was coming out, so I thought you gave me our album and stuff like that.
Where is
Put the drink up here, the Verset thing. You get me? Like I thought the Verset was the most important thing.
You're
to talk
associated
about.
with the movement
Yeah.
now, Verset, renowned levels, but also Always Recording.
Yeah.
Where is Always Recording right now? What is Big Up Bath?
Yeah.
What Where is it now? Would you say it is?
I think, you know what? I think Baf's just in I should call it like probably like public hibernation. When I say public, I mean maybe industry hibernation. I think he's just chilling out from this for a bit. And
but you're obviously a part of all
yeah. Like listen, always like if I was a man who gets tattoos, I would have always tattooed on me. Do you know what I mean? It's more for me. It's more than just a company. It's more than a business. It's my bigger brother. It's someone that inspired me from the jump. He doesn't even know how much he's done for me. And then you know, if he was sitting there, he'd say the same thing because we're family, man, and we work together. And Baf's a man. He's a G, bruv. Like, whatever he's gonna do, he'll find his feet. Like, he's the first person I used to, from growing up as a kid, to own a shop. It was a video shop. This was years ago. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? He's always a man that always tried to do something else. Like, cool, we're gonna do that. And even when he came to me with the music thing, and he was like, fam, come, we wanna just push bare P and let's make your thing blow. And I'm like, bro, look, come on, man. I don't want you wasting your money on my dream. I don't know if I'm gonna pop like that, innit? So, what you're better off, I'll work with you. Everything you do, I'll do with you. You know what I mean? If you need a verse, you need a tape, you need sessions, you need me to bring artists, whatever. It's love. But I'll never take nothing from you. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're family, bro. And I don't take like off my family to you know, for my own gain or whatever. So yeah, but that's my brother, man. And when he finds his feet in whatever he's gonna step into, it's gonna be incredible, man.
Speaking of brothers, you've kind of found yourself a new younger brother, I believe, in Avellino, who is crazy. Like, I remember the first time I heard him. And then obviously you guys have done a mixtape and he held his own. Like, he did well. Like, he did a mixtape with you.
Yeah.
One of the coldest ever. And he did well. What made you decide that you was going to do that with him?
He reminds me so much of myself, man. Like, I look at him like looking at myself like 10 years ago. So I kind of just feel like if Pele saw Ronaldinho doing his first kick-ups, he'd be encouraged to help that kid because he can see his touch is amazing. You get what I'm saying? And I can see something special in him. Probably I can see something in him what he might not see in himself yet. He's got a lot of developing to do. He's developing at a rapid rate. And even now he's phenomenal. So when I think when he reaches his full potential, you know, he should be able to surpass everything I've done.
And I think as also we kind of touched on, you know, Kano saying he was better than you. And I
in the fire in the booth.
In the fire in the booth. Okay, well, all right, calm down, Post.
That's the first time Posty's backed me.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's important to kind of touch on that because you guys have some really friendly warfare. You know, like it's something that I think is really healthy. Posty.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I told you.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
You've not given him for the Verset and it's strong, you know, because I feel warm inside.
You warm? Warm up.
Mad.
You love me, Chams? No, I'm joking.
Right.
I'm joking.
So I think that it's important.
Sorry.
I think it's important to kind of discuss. I've lost my train of thought now. Look at you.
No, it's important to discuss Kano.
Yeah. Obviously, you guys are here. You're not all amazing. You're phenomenal. And then you guys just kind of battle it out. You go in and you discuss, like, okay, you're cold, right? That means that when I come next, it's going to be colder. I can't, you lot don't go to a battle with each other empty, but also you don't get personal, which I think is important. So it's just like, it's friendly, and I think it helps you guys as a whole to develop. Am I right in thinking that? Because
it's end of the day, like, it's a battle of skill, innit? And talent and technique. It's not supposed to be suck your mum. Like, it's not supposed to, like, cross that line. It's supposed to just be like, okay, cool, you went in there and done that. All right, safe, cool. I'm gonna go in there and do this. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it started out as. Obviously, like, clashes do happen and people do get into that. I try and kind of stay out of that. I'd rather just go in there and just do the coldest one. And if you just go and better it, like, you don't need to mention me because I didn't mention you. So.
And the thing is, people from afar probably don't know that you actually care. Or that they care. Because when Kano released his, I've all text Wretch because I know that this will be getting to.
I know, Posty's a man. He knows how to get
it. I wanted to do Daily Duppy, so I was like, Wretch. They saying his name on the streets, boy.
You didn't reply though, did you? You don't reply, do you?
No, what reply? He said, because it wasn't a diss, it was just like...
But do you reply to disses?
I have in the past, but I'm talking like 10 years ago, man. Do you know what's like really fucked me off all that shit? Like... Bro, like, my little boy, he's 10 now, innit? And he's he's at a place now where he's coming to me talking about, yeah, man, I went back here and I clicked something and it was like, be cool, but he had like a Mohican. Like, he's talking about, he's looking at things and I think, rah, just the way I want this youth to think that, like, he's even gonna watch this. Like, he finds them. And that's the way I want him to think that I move. I don't want him to think I'm involved in anything
that's negative.
That's negative. I just want him to look at his dad like this. My dad was a sick guy, an artist. He looked after people. He done his thing. And I want to aspire to be him. I don't want him to think like, right, okay, cool. So to do that, I have to go and say, fuck my man. You don't have to say fuck anyone, bro. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to do that.
Obviously, now that you are Wretch Free too, even though you've always been Wretch Free too, was there ever a time that you, because I was surprised when you blew up like how you did, just because you were the most lyrical guy.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? It's like, especially at that stage in like the music game, you didn't think out of everyone, it would have been Wretch, because like everybody before was quite poppy, apart from some of the greats like Kano or but you did it differently as well, because you was getting a lot of top 5s and top 3s and number 1s. And how surprised were you that happened to you and for you?
At that time, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, bro, if I'm honest. Like, every day something mad was happening, and when you're hot and everything's buzzing and everything's going right, it's going so right. Like, you've gone to 5, gone to 2, gone to 1. Like, it just, Wembley Stadium, 78,000 people come and perform there, come and do this, come and do that. So much, like, Olympics, so much things were happening. I'm just like, rah, but I'm just running with it. You know what I mean? I'm just excited. I'm just an artist that just wanted as much people to hear my music as possible. So it's just overwhelming. It's a good feeling though, because it's something that you didn't see happening. So you just have to enjoy it and you just run with it. And you know what I see that in now as well? I see that in Stormzy, man. And I'm even watching him with his success, I'm getting that same happiness I got at that point. Because I get it. And you see him tweet like, rah, I just met such and such, or I just was on stage with such and such. And I'm like, yeah, bro, that's it. Like, go. And I speak to him a lot. You know what I mean? I'm like, keep your head down, kid, and just go and just kill it, bro. Like, the light's on you right now, bro. Hold the torch and run with it, man. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, bro. So the album's out.
Out now, Growing Over Life.
Big album. I think you've delivered again another masterpiece to add to the collection.
Are you vexed you're not on this one?
Let's not go
there. Do you know
there.
visuals on my first album?
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Visuals doing a hook.
You're drunk,
still.
bro. This is working.
Wait, what hook did he do?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, one of the Wizzy Wild joints.
This 40% is working, B. Is there any situation or person
The pressure.
you want to address before we go?
Any situation, any person. Nah,
Is there
bro.
anything that we didn't cover?
Absolutely nothing, man. Just listen. More life, more success, more blessings, more prosperity. Verset Vodka coming soon. Growing Over Life out now. That's it, man. And all the youth, them, like, just carry on killing it, man. I'm looking at the Section boys. I'm looking at everyone just going abroad and living their dream. Like, we're able to make new situations for ourselves and for our family. That's all we're supposed to be here to do. We grew up in the States. Our situations were shit. We're supposed to try and better our situations for ourselves, our family, and our children. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to do what's necessary to enable you to do what's possible. Then you become the impossible. That's the dream,
nice.
bro.
Say no more.
That was inspirational, man.
I don't even know what to say.
Don't say nothing, dad.
Just
Just
say
make a
nothing.
toast, fam.
Toast. Growing
Make a
Over
toast.
Life.
Growing Over Life.
Big up everyone in the room.
Verset.
Dwayne's feature on Wretch's
Come
first
on.
album.
Don't know.
Yes, please.
Come on.
Oppa!
Not for the radio.
Not
Big
for
up
the radio.
Wretch. Growing Over Life at Rated Awards. Say no more.
Hashtag NFTR.